Good morning. I hope you're well. I hope you're already focused on Jesus. We're coming to the very end of Matthew chapter 5. We've been listening to the voice of Jesus. We've been listening to what he has to say about what God expects of us. We've been listening to him describe a blessed life, a useful life, a restored life. And we've been listening to him talk about the circumference of love. And very carefully, he has taken us on a journey from the inside of our life where we experience poverty of spirit. And he's taking us all the way out to the goal of all discipleship, which is the perfecting of our love. And love that has been perfected is a love that is not a reaction to circumstances or a reaction to who treats us well and who doesn't treat us well. It is a continuous action that comes from being in union with the character of God, which is love. And only in Jesus can my world be so changed and my person be so changed that I can begin to love people not as a reaction because they're good to me, but as an action which is born in God's active love for me as revealed in Jesus. Listen to these words again. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. And pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be, that word be is incredible. It's not about just imitating something. It's literally be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Can you hear what he's saying? If all your love is a reaction to people who love you, and is a reaction to people who treat you well and greet you well and think well of you, then you haven't moved the circumference of love out to where it should be, because you're only loving people who return to you some reaction that keeps you loving them. But God is not like that. And if we want to be sons, if we want to be, literally become sons of our Father, we must demonstrate that we are in continuous contact with the character of God, which is perfect love. And that character became flesh and dwelt among us. That character is named Jesus, and it is Christ in me, it is Christ in you that allows me to not need a positive response from other people in order for my love to be a reality. In other words, my love can be born in the perfect love of God, which is Christ in me, the hope of glory. And then the circumference of my love can be a love that comes from above. And it is not the love of this world, which is limited to people who treat me well and I treat them well, and we negotiate an environment of mutual admiration and love. That's not what God is after in my life, because that's not what's in God, and that's not what is in Jesus. He sends his rain and his sun every day, the sun that shines over us, the rain that falls and gives us new life here in the world, as a statement that says, even if you are evil and even if you are unjust, I still in my character will behave toward you as continuous love. It's Easter week here in Brazil. And here in Brazil, Easter week is taken very seriously. But the day that is taken most seriously is Friday, called Good Friday, which is the day of the crucifixion. Because I think the Brazilian people understand that Jesus dying on the cross was an act of pure love. You can see it when Jesus says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They are literally crucifying pure love. And if they'd known what they were trying to kill, they would have said, no, please stay. You are perfect love. Now, Jesus is in me, and if you are a believer, Jesus is in you. And you are in contact with perfect love. And you are to become a manifestation of a love that is not just a reaction to who treats you well or thinks of you well, but an action that is continuous. If I could offer one bit of advice to every believer, I would say to them, cooperate with the perfect love of Jesus which is in you, so that your love stops being just a reaction until your love becomes the action of Jesus. And then you would say, for to me to live is Christ. And then you would say, it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And then you would affirm, without Jesus, I can do nothing. But with Jesus' power, I can do all things. If you want to come out to where the circumference of love in the universe is fully formed, then hear the words of Jesus. Live the words of Jesus. More than just live his words, live his life, because he is in you, so you can love in the way he is describing in the Sermon on the Mount. Don't be afraid of the Sermon on the Mount. Rejoice that such an optimism could be communicated by the Son of God to us. We can return to love that is not a reaction, but an action. God bless you. Love Jesus today and love others.